We come in peace, we look for and see the good in others, we train in mutual respect. Aish! Aish! Aloha e malama pono, and welcome to day 13 of our training together. Today is April 4th, and this is the anniversary of the passing of Sijo Adriano D. Emperado, founder of KAJUKENBO. Today's lesson is dedicated to Sijo. When I was a kid, there used to be a sign in this park right here. In fact, I'll let you see for yourself.
That's not how he did it. He did it too. I know.
It was exactly like that.
His balance was better on that fall, remember?
Today is Saturday. Yesterday was Saturday. Today is Sunday, Christmas Day. So yeah, my brother and my friends and I had a good time growing up training in this park and reinforcing the lessons that we would receive in class. We trained in KAJUKENBO from when I was very, very small. My father had trained with Uncle David Nuhiva, and through Uncle David he knew of Sijo. And then much later, when I was very little, my father introduced me to his friend, Sifu George Iversen, who became my teacher in KAJUKENBO. Through Grandmaster Iversen, I was able to eventually meet Sijo, and I'm very grateful that I was able to know him when he was alive. So in honor of Sijo today, we're going to train two of the foundational techniques for self-defense in the KAJUKENBO system as they were taught to me. We have a punch defense and a grab defense. In keeping with social distancing, today I'm here by myself. To be responsible, all of us should stay home as much as we can during this difficult time. But to help me demonstrate the first technique, we're going to go back in time and watch my best friend from high school and I training our first punch defense, rotation number 1. Defense is called rotation. Rotation 1. Okay? Step up to the side, clasp and strike. Thrust kick, block, back kick, side kick. Okay?
Say!
One time quickly. Sit, 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 ah! Okay, as you can see, as the punch comes in, our first initial movement is to step offline and parry inward with an inward block. And then our rear hand is going to strike the bicep, creating a gunting scissoring motion. From there, we're going to thrust kick, and that can be either to the body or to the groin. Then we're going to clear the arm with an inward block from that hand, back fist, side kick, cross and cover, and look for any other potential attacker. Now let's go back in time again and watch Rick Stockton and I demonstrating grab art number 1. Okay. Grabbing techniques called grab arts. He reaches the grab. Okay, under the elbows, block, front kick, parry, back, side kick, and cross and cover.
Get all that.
Okay, one more time.
Yeah.
Quickly. So as you can see, that one took place at Christmas time when we were inside the house. But here we go. This is grab art number 1. As Rick came in to grab me, I stepped back and hit his arms upward at the elbow, grabbing his forearm at the brachioradialis muscle and squeezing it to prevent him from being able to get a good grip. Then thrust kick to the groin, inward block, back fist, side kick, cross and cover, and clear, making sure there's no other attacker. So that's the way we trained this way back in the day. Since then, I've been grateful to have been taught other expressions of the art, through Senior Grandmaster Rick Alemany, through Senior Grandmaster Joe Halbuna, through Sifu Al Dacascos, and through my friend, Grandmaster Don Crummer, who trains in the Aleju Reyes method, which is very, very close to the original method taught by Sijo. I'm going to share with you some clips from our class from before this whole crisis started, when Grandmaster Crummer was kind enough to come by and share some original method versions of these techniques with my students.
He's going to throw that punch. Again, rush block, hammer fist, kick to the groin, step back, knee to the body. Cover. Grab. Knee. Cover. When you start getting better and more focused, then you're going to start coming into the nerve. You get really good like Sijo does it, he goes like this. He would come up under it. Got his hand here, and he's going to pull him right in.
So as you can see in punch defense number 1, the initial aspect is primarily the same, where you're doing the scissoring gunting motion, parrying inward, and striking the bicep, and then kicking the groin. But instead of going to the outside, he turns to the inside, pulling the person forward, then manhandling them and kneeing in the groin before cross and cover and check for other attackers. Now let's take a look at the grab defense.
Up to the elbows. Turning. Again, thumbs right there. Lifting. Snapping kick to the groin. Stepping back, pulling them off balance. Chambering. Dropping my stance. From right here. This is chambered. Boom. Right to the bridge of the nose. Step back and cover. Then from here I block.
Because I feel like Johnson.
Look how balanced he is.
Yeah.
Bam!
As you can see in his version of the grab defense, which is very close to the original method taught by Sijo, the apple did not fall too far from the tree, in that it is very similar to what I was taught growing up. Now in the grabbing defense, he also starts from neutral. As the attacker comes in, he pops the elbows up and then rotates the thumbs into the brachioradialis muscle and then kicks the groin. From here, he also drags the person forward, does an inward block to clear, and a reverse punch into the face. Then he crosses and covers and clears, prepared if he has to face another attacker. Part of the legacy of Sijo Emperado is that he actively encouraged all of his students to continue to develop the art and to make it better and to make it their own. So between different lineages of long-established teachers descending down from Sijo on the family tree, you will see a lot of variety. You'll also see a lot of cross-training, which makes a lot of sense when you consider that the original art, the 5 founders incorporated Ka for karate, Ju for judo, and for jiu-jitsu, Ken for kempo, Bo for boxing, both Western boxing and Chinese kung fu. And over time, many instructors have built on that foundation by incorporating other aspects of those included arts, as well as additional techniques from other martial arts they have learned over time. In some schools, whole complete martial arts curriculums are contained within the KAJUKENBO school. This is very true in my case. When I was in 6th grade, I compared the differences between KAJUKENBO and Kodokan Danzanryu Jiu-Jitsu, which were the 2 primary systems that I had learned growing up. Even though both arts came from Hawaii and both had an emphasis on self-defense, they were still very different from each other. I wanted to understand how those differences came to be and why. At the time, the only way that I could think of to actually be able to understand all of that was to go back to the roots and learn each of the root systems that KAJUKENBO was comprised of. So at that time in middle school, I went about trying to study karate, judo, and jiu-jitsu, and kempo, and boxing, and kung fu, to lead me to a place where I could understand the roots. And that's a process that continues to this day. But this day would not be possible in the martial arts for me or for any of my students and for many of my friends and teachers without the influence of Sijo Adriano D. Emperado. So Sijo, this day is for you. Mahalo.